We're going to do a segment, and I really took a lot of, I'm looking for the word here. I'm looking inspiration from a conversation we had a couple days ago. Maybe it would have been yesterday, but we talk, especially looking at you, Marty, we talk often about having a good physique and putting some nice clothes on. Now, obviously we're talking about longevity, but part of the journey of longevity is the day-to-day, and part of longevity is getting up in the morning and getting into your closet and putting something nice on. We got guys getting ready for the weekend. We got guys getting ready for events, and there might be some times where guys get up in the morning and thinking, oh, I want to feel good about myself. I want to feel jacked. I want to go put on my suit jacket or my t-shirt or my going out for dinner tonight. Let's throw some exercises on the table for Rich Ingram. There you go. For Rich Ingram to come off his race, throw some clothes on and feel jacked. Exercises that will help you men feel jacked to start your day or for a night out on the town. Marty, Richie, Johnny, you guys want to go do that?
Let's get it.
Let's do it. All right. I'm going to get out of here.
See you later.
Yeah, good.
The first question I got to ask about this is, are we talking about an exercise that you're just like going to do today? Like you haven't been doing it, or you haven't been training, but you're going to exercise just today to accomplish this feeling? Or is this, okay, this person works out regularly, they're doing their shit. Okay, what's something within that repertoire we can do today?
I think we're talking long term, Johnny. I think we're talking long term.
Okay, thank Christ, because I was like, if we're telling,
on the brand for us.
I was gonna say, I just had to make sure that was. Maybe that was my fault for just assuming the glass could have been half empty. So I need to be all. Shame on me for that, because I should.
It's okay, man. You're still learning. You might be the OG on the show, but you're still learning, man. It's all good.
Oh, I love it.
The first exercise, I'd have to say, incline chest press.
Yeah.
That's going to target the upper chest, the shoulders, triceps, and it's going to change your whole look. So if you got on like a button-up shirt or a polo, that's really going to make those upper body muscles stand out, in my opinion. Incline chest press, you can't go wrong with that one. That's number one for me, because that's what people going to see first. When you go shake somebody's hand, they're going to see your shoulders. They're going to see that chest popping out of the polo shirt or the button-up.
I totally agree with that, but I think we should also just make sure that we establish that if you go do these exercises, we're going to talk about a series of them, there's a window of opportunity that you're going to have to carry that look with you. You can do this incline press, get all pumped up, yoked up, feeling good, put on that shirt, boom, you're all set. It's just a matter of time before that look goes away, because you're going to lose your pump. So a lot of times you see the guys that they're 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. out work, and they're doing the curls and trying to pump up go to the club. If you ain't going to the club till 10 o'clock, it ain't going to be there. Shit ain't going to be there. So I think understand there's a window of time here that you got to manage. So that being said, I just always want to make sure we're bringing true reality to the table.
Well, the pump is short term. We talking over time. What exercises over a series of time going to have you looking jacked when you go out at night?
Man, I'm really fucking off the mark on this son of a bitch. Holy
Christ. Pump. Yeah, the pump is short term. You went right back to short term after we established long term. It's all good. You still learning. I know you're the OG on the show, but you still learning. No, I'm playing.
Richie, step in there. What do you got, baby?
Go ahead, Rich.
I'll say, look, I'm going to learn the fitness stuff from you guys as far as pumping. But I will say one thing that I noticed is people don't upgrade their clothes. So if you've gone to the gym, you've lost some weight, and your physique has changed, you can't be wearing the same clothes 6 months ago. You need to go back to the tailor and get something trim fit depending on what your style is, because that's also going to show your definitive physique. Yep. And then you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say cardio, man. Cardio is just going to cut. It is. It's going to show everything.
Yeah, you got to absolutely do cardio. What exercise would you say, John?
So what I would go right now that I'm on target here with this conversation, for the love of Christ. So I would go with basic. First off, I totally agree with what you're saying, Marty. But the next thing I would put probably as an equal first would be a narrow grip bench press, because you're going to basically target the chest. It's going to be inner, upper chest, and you're going to get that big old swole up tricep. And then who doesn't want a bigger arm? Most people, they say, I just want my chest and my arms to be a certain way, and that's what they're after. Now, if you do a narrow grip, you're going to get both those in one shot. And narrow grip is one of those things I believe is really undervalued, because when it comes down to it in life, this is a fairly common. If we're going to push something away, our hands are going to be narrow. We're not pushing out here. And that's a good point. Most people bench out wide. So a narrow grip is basically it's going to help you as an athlete. It's going to help you as a person. It might even help you in what you do for work because this is a natural path of life.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, I'm going with shoulder shrugs. I don't know about you, John, but I think those traps, that makes you a different type of man. You're going to stand out from a lot of men if you got traps showing. I think the ladies going to get a little bit more, and the men going to give you a little more respect if you got those traps popping out. Me, I love shoulder shrugs. I do them every week. I go super heavy on them. Probably not heavy to you, John, but it's heavy to me. 360, I go there with the shoulder shrugs. So how you feel about that, John?
I think that's a great one, but here's the deal. I never really did shrugs, but what I did was a variation. This is where my traps took work from this type of exercise. In my strength career, right, we would do farmer's walk. So you're talking like 300 to sometimes 350 pounds in each hand.
Oh, yeah.
And you pick that shit up. You pick that shit up and you're walking as far as you can. So your trap is like a fucking shock absorber. All that stress is going right through your trap.
Yep.
What we would do to work on our conditioning for this is we would strap in. So our grips wouldn't go, they wouldn't come, we wouldn't lose grip. And you would walk that weight until you basically, what happened to your core when you just folded your core? You just couldn't stand up anymore.
Fuck.
The type of beating your traps take from doing that, because you might walk with that thing for a minute and a half with that kind of load on your traps. That's a different type of work in the trap. And that's where mine were developed.
And hey,
go ahead, Rich.
I was going to say, don't forget legs. Women love an ass, okay? You can't forget squats, lunges, and guys, those are more of the things that I work in endurance sports. Man, when you put those pants on and it looks like you forgot leg day, women want a balanced body, okay? Or men, whatever you're going
I
after,
agree.
Doesn't matter.
Brother,
so
I agree 100%.
There with you, right there with you.
Because what the women want, deep cheeks, don't they, Mark?
Here we go.
That's it, man. Look, I was working my glutes yesterday on that, what do they call it? The booty blaster.
Yeah.
And I thought of you, John. I was like, man, this is a weird time to think of another human like that. But I did, man. I was doing my squats.
That's right, baby.
My booty blaster. Putting work in.
That's it
for you.
As AJ said yesterday, he's going to work on the deep cheeks one rep at a time. That was good shit. But I agree, Rich. Having a big round butt, I think, is equally appreciated going both directions. I think no matter what, man or woman, no matter what your sexual preference is, I think having a good strong butt is a really big part of an attraction to another human being.
Hey, John, I don't know if you saw my story yesterday. I'm sure you didn't, but I was hip thrusting 495. So we just gonna throw that on the table since we were talking about that. I know that's probably light to you, but that's heavy for me. All right, but
no, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
You can be tossing women off the bed, man.
I learned from Johnny, man.
It's gonna be pelvic region destruction over here, man.
Yeah, I learned from Johnny and Keith. Since we're talking about traps too, just to go back, how you feel about lateral raises, John?
The lateral raise, I think, is one of those that I think is really undervalued, meaning that people will do them, but I don't think they do them with the type of intention that I think they should be used for. And if you really want one of the things that I do is I'll use the lateral raise I'll start the workout off of it because A, it gets my shoulders really warm. But then B, it fatigues the shoulders. So then when I go to press, like a standing barbell press or a dumbbell press, my shoulders, A, are really lubed up. But then B, the weight feels so much heavier. And really what it comes down to, if I can get a great workout with 100-pound dumbbell versus 120 or 130 or 40, I'm going to take that every day because the 120, 30, 40 beats up the joint. The lighter weight, the muscle doesn't know how heavy that dumbbell is. The muscle knows the difficulty. So I'm a big connoisseur on using that lateral raise to just toast the shoulders to start the work. And you can't do that every time. Sometimes you can finish with it. But I think for a shoulder, as you can see, shoulders are one of my favorite deals. I think having not only the trap, but then having that big round cap.
Yep.
I think that's a huge part of what makes you look good in a t-shirt. Hence, come on, man. Shit.
That's right.
Sexy, dude. Sexy.
All right, John, we need another exercise along with the narrow grip bench press.
I think one thing that people tend to not understand how helpful can be with the arm, because everybody wants the arm all yoked up, is to be doing bis and tris at the same time. Because what you're doing is you're sending a shitload of blood into the arm as a whole. And rather than just filling up the back or filling up the front of the arms, it's rare that I'm going to do an exercise of bi or tri without if I'm going to do bis, I'm going to be doing tris at the same time. It's just, for me, I feel like I get more out of it when I'm sending blood into my whole arm than just half. And so I think just basically start your arm workout as a superset. And most people that try this, they're like, holy shit. That's A, it's efficient, and B, it feels great. And when it comes down to it, what do we want? We want to enjoy, we want it to feel good in our workout. When you can pair things together that makes you feel good, that you can see the result right now, how do you not want to do that shit again next week?
Yep.
In the gym with John and Marty, great segment, guys. Some good nuggets you guys dropped there. You had me laughing off the stage there. You guys got into
I definitely had to get my shit together with understanding where I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Christ almighty, man. The glass was half empty on my start of that goddamn segment. So I'm gonna have to realign. I'm gonna have to realign my position today. I shouldn't be thinking that way.
Here's the thing, Johnny. You got the boy, man. You got the boy wonder. You got the boy wonder superhero on your corner. You got the C Marty fit man. You got the man with the answers there. But Johnny, I got a question for you, brother, because we're the old guys here, and Marty and Rich are going to be old like us one day. John, is there an argument still to be made that as we age into our 50s? And I'm being very serious with my question right now. Should we still be lifting heavy, or should we start to lay back a little bit because maybe the payoff is more about injury, longevity? And I'm not trying to sound like a pussy. I'm being very serious. Like, does it get to where it's, you know what, Keith, do you really need to squat 315? Maybe you want to have knees that last you longer so you can trek with your kids. Like, at what point, Johnny? And I know you might say it all depends on your body, but I really want to hear your point of view on this, brother.
Yeah, 100%. And really what it comes down to, and a way that we can describe this is going to help everybody.
Yes.
It's relative. So a lot of times people think heavy. 15 years ago, I used to be able to do this. That was 15 years ago.
Right.
You can still lift. And keep in mind, when I say heavy, that means that you're still keeping in good form and you're safe. Heavy doesn't mean doing a bunch of dumb shit. When we say lift heavy for what's heavy for you now. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's safe. But on that level, especially as we get older, we realize that lifting heavy also takes more recovery. So there's a balance point there. And here's the thing. They've actually proven that as we get older, lifting heavier, and when I say heavier, just meaning having that variance, is actually really helpful, because as men get older, we lose muscle mass if we don't play the game right. And so what we really want, strength, is function. And so we want to make sure that the time we're putting into our training actually translate into function. Not to say that doing things light is not good and healthy, but when you're 80, let's just say that you've been cycling some heavy training into your regime twice a month, right? And you do that all the way. Now your heavy is going to be going down, but when you're 80, you're going to be considered freaking strong as an ox for an 80-year-old. Right. Because you've trained heavy relative to you and your age. So I think letting go of heavy, first off, understanding heavy is the first thing. But letting go of heavy, I think, it's going to really hurt you down the road.
So maybe in summarizing, Johnny, and using a page from your book to simplify it.
Yep.
Have awareness in the moment. Don't try to be a hero.
Yes. As we all have this thing called an ego. And the ego tends to get us in more goddamn trouble, not only in this department, but all different departments. So if you can register that, hey, I need to challenge myself with heavier weights, with what's possible for me to do today safely, that is your ticket.
Good. Richie, I see you leaning in here. Does something jive for you, Richie, as we were talking here?
Yeah, absolutely. Because what I can relate to is 15 years ago, I could do this, right? Like when I had two arms, I was bench pressing well over 300 pounds. So I think what we have to be very cognizant of is, as we age or our lives differ, and let's say we're getting back into the gym, is our emotional stability. We might have to update what our goals are. And as we do plateau and come down, which is just natural, we have to accept that. And we have to set the expectation knowing that's going to happen going into it, and set up certain coping mechanisms so we don't feel defeated when we're not hitting the same gains that we did when we were previously there.
I asked the question, boys. We'll wrap the segment up. I asked the question, Johnny, because my ego got in the way yesterday. It was what was yesterday? Yesterday was Tuesday for me. I did legs day, and I found myself in the squat rack and in the deadlifts, and I was lifting heavy, and I was fine with it. But I found myself at a few points in my journey going, "Wait a minute, do I really need to be doing this right now?" And I found myself probably talking to my ego, Johnny, and I was like, "Okay, I don't need to probably put the extra 25 pounds on right now." You know what I mean? It was just one of those moments.
Yeah,
that's why.
And you know what we can do to help people with that is ask yourself a question. If I do this weight that I know that I'm questioning, if I do this and I hurt myself, is that really worth it? Because now you're giving up your rhythm, you're giving up your routine, you're giving up your ability to train that muscle again next week. And most people go, I'm not willing to make that trade. So ask yourself a question. Before you do it, ask yourself that question.
It's exactly what I asked myself, actually. Before I put the extra couple plates on, I was like, do I really need to do this right now? Or is this going to set me back next week? And I didn't do it. I was like, that's why I asked the question, because I've gone through it myself, and we got a good time. We're wrapping the segment up here. We got a good time with a great comment. I started with half mile a week. Now I'm up to 2 to 3 miles a day. Thanks, guys, and starting to run a bit. Good time. That's awesome, man. And you know what?
Right on, baby.
You know what? Good time. If you want to go for a run with me, we can start doing runs together on Mondays and Fridays, because I hate running, but I do them now, and it's just what I do. And I know it makes Richie happy when he knows Uncle Keith running 2 years. But all right,